Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Gold, and thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time to talk about the governance of Nebraska medicine. Before answering some of the very commonly asked questions on this subject, I thought I would reflect just a minute to say that just over 40 years ago, I had the opportunity when I was about to receive my medical degree to take an oath, known commonly as the Hippocratic Oath of Medicine. And at that time, this oath embodied the requirements, not the requests, but the requirements to put others above self, to be altruistic, to practice humanism, and of course, to do no harm. It is that very set of principles that underlies the discussions that we have had about the future of Nebraska medicine. So just going back to the history for a few minutes, it was in 1869 that Bishop Clarkson and his wife built one of the first hospitals in the Omaha area. Over time, the hospital moved in the 1950s to 42nd Street and developed tighter and tighter partnerships and interdependence with the University of Nebraska Medical Center, known as University Hospital. That became even more formal in 1997 when a joint operating agreement was created that established the dual ownership of Nebraska medicine, at that time known as TNMC, or the Nebraska Medical Center. But in 2016, associated with the rebranding and the renaming of Nebraska medicine, those documents were strengthened, and indeed the dual ownership, equal ownership of Nebraska medicine shared by the University of Nebraska and Clarkson Regional Health Services developed the current governance structure. That relationship was focused on quality and affordability and access to high quality care. It was focused on excellence in building the future health professions workforce and offering absolutely world-class access to quality care, cutting-edge research, and the future for academic medicine in our state. Over time, Clarkson decided, for strategic reasons of their own, that they no longer wished to be a partner. And back in July of 2024, literally days after I became the 9th president of the University of Nebraska system, having spent 10 and a half years as the chancellor of UNMC and as the chair of the board of Nebraska medicine, we were notified clearly from the chair of Clarkson and the president of the organization that they wished to withdraw their membership and have the University of Nebraska become the sole member. This meeting had participation by the Board of Regents, of course by Clarkson, myself, and at that time the chair of the board of Nebraska medicine. Didn't seem like a multiple choice question or a discussion point. They were quite finite in their timeline, their desire, and their strong wishes to make this transition smooth, to embody the strength of Nebraska medicine, to be sure that all of the amazing qualities of access to the highest levels of care, cutting-edge research, and continued health professions workforce development were only strengthened, and that they were going to further invest in the future of Project Health. That, of course, resulted in retaining the services of talented attorneys, not only by Clarkson and the Board of Regents, but of course by Nebraska medicine, and went on over a period of approximately 18 months to get us to where we are today. Very early on in that process, all of the parties involved were asked to sign a very strict and rigid non-disclosure agreement, which meant for me and others that the opportunity to speak publicly about this until there was something finite to move ahead that would require action by the Board of Regents was not permissible. During that time period, lengthy discussions occurred among and between Clarkson and the Board of Regents, with continued outreach and multiple levels of engagement with Nebraska Medicine through their board and through their chief executive officer. All of this culminated after significant research in the drafts of a term sheet which have been discussed and presented on numerous occasions to the Board of Regents, who would become the sole member. Because in the existing joint operating agreement that is shared among and between Clarkson, the Board of Regents, and Nebraska Medicine, one of the sections, as I've come to know all too well, section 10.3, clearly states that in the event that Clarkson or CRHS chooses to withdraw from their ownership position, the Board of Regents has the opportunity to become the sole member, the single member of this, and the parent. A model that has been well tested and well employed in large and very successful academic medical centers with both publicly elected and publicly appointed boards, with institutions of high regard both in the private sector, such as Stanford and Hopkins and others, in the public sector, such as University of Michigan, Michigan State, University of Iowa, Ohio State, and many, many others. This model allows and indeed requires that there be a board that oversees the entire health system that is separated with specifically delegated responsibilities and authorities to do what the Board of Nebraska Medicine has successfully now done since 2014, when I first joined and became the chair of the Nebraska Medicine Board. There have been many questions that have arisen, and to answer them directly regarding first whether this would convert Nebraska Medicine into a state hospital, clearly not. Its current business structure is a not-for-profit 501c3 corporation, and of course that will remain into the future. Another question that I get asked: will the employees of Nebraska Medicine become employees of the state, or will they become employees of the university? And the answer to that question, again, is no. The overwhelming majority of the employees of Nebraska Medicine are paid by Nebraska Medicine on pay scales that are utilized through Nebraska Medicine. There are several individuals, many hundreds of individuals, including most of our world-class physicians and other healthcare professionals, who get two paychecks. They get one from the university and they get one from Nebraska Medicine. No desire to change any of that either. I also get asked all the time, what is the nature of the financial arrangement? How did the numbers come together? And the answer again is very simple. Large numbers, of course, but there's transfer of approximately $300 million of real estate, which has been assessed at fair market value. There's the sale of the clinical enterprise itself, not just the facilities on 42nd Street in Dewey, but the entire clinical enterprise. This has had multiple layers of national valuation done, and a price of $500 million was established. And then, in the generosity of the Clarkson board and their leadership team, they have decided to, out of those dollars, to make a dramatic philanthropic investment into Project Health, our future health professions home on the 42nd Street and Dewey campus. They've decided to invest $200 million, which will be among the largest and most sustaining philanthropic investments in the history of the university, and help us get to the final fundraising target to see steel and concrete rise from the ground. These three components have been vetted on multiple different levels, from the perspective of the legal aspects of it, the transfer of governance, etc., and of course from the financial sustainability. So that of course prompts the question of where the dollar is going to come from. And I get asked all the time by students, is this going to change my tuition? Are there going to be tuition dollars that are going into this? Again, the answer is clearly no. Is this going to affect the academic budgets, the state appropriated budgets from any of our academic campuses, including UNMC? Again, the answer to that question is no. And have we asked the state, or do we plan to ask the state of Nebraska to appropriate dollars in order to make this transaction possible? And again, the answer is no. This model has been carefully put together by our finance team and needs additional work during the period between when the Board of Regents acts and when the arrangement finally closes. And on that point, it's quite similar actually to buying a home. You know, when you agree to buy a home, or at least the experiences I've had, you sign an agreement with the purchaser and the seller. It says, yeah, we want to buy this home. And then you go through a period of due diligence, which have to do, in our case, by establishing articles and bylaws, by finalizing the due diligence process of the purchaser's agreement, aligning all of the finances, and then, and only then, can the arrangement be finalized and, in technical terms, closed. That process will not take days or weeks, but clearly will take months and is targeted to occur on or before the end of June of 2026. So all of these factors have come together as an opportunity for the Board of Regents to create a model that is very similar to our Big Ten peers, to create stability along our mission, because as many of our audience may know, the community has viewed UNMC and Nebraska medicine as almost one and the same thing. We share a common logo, we share a common mission statement, and most importantly, we share a common set of values, which has driven us to high quality, accessible, and affordable care. It's driven us to creating the future workforce for the state of Nebraska and for embracing scientifically based quality research and pushing back the frontiers of healthcare, not just for Nebraska, but as a leader in the world. All of these are underlying the opportunities that the Board of Regents wishes to sustain. And so when I think back to that day when I was a ripe old age of 25, that I took that Hippocratic oath when I began my residencies and fellowships to become a cardiac surgeon. That philosophy, that drive around humanism and altruism, about always putting the future patients and the quality of health care first, has underlined all of this decision making. It is my hope that the process proceeds smoothly. It is my hope that all of the tensions that have evolved and the questions that have been widely spread across the communities we serve are resolved in the near future. And it is our strong commitment, and certainly my personal commitment, that the excellence and quality of a world-leading academic medical center is not only sustained, but continues to grow and continues to serve all those in need. I'm Dr. Jeff Gold, and thanks for giving me a few minutes of your day.